I'm back. What do I have planned for today? Keep watching. It's a mess! Hi peoples, welcome to my channel, Bernie Playing with Makeup. My name is Bernadette. All my friends and subscribers call me Bernie. So if you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for your continual support of my channel. You are my babes. I know you've noticed that brands have been dropping foundations every 2 seconds, it seems. I review these foundations not as a means of saying to you, run out there and go and buy every foundation. I have a YouTube beauty channel. I create beauty content. A part of creating beauty content is reviewing beauty items. Hot beauty items right now is brands are dropping new foundations every which way. By no means do not take any of my foundation reviews as me saying every time I review a foundation, every time a brand drops a new foundation, go out there and run and buy it. Keep in mind that I am not buying every single product that I am reviewing. As someone who has a YouTube channel, it makes sense that I have a large foundation collection. I use them for content, but it is not by any means an attempt to say to anyone, go out and buy this foundation that just came out, this one that just came out, the other one that I just did. No, please do not take my reviews to mean that. That is not the intention of my reviews. We're reviewing the new Huda Beauty #Fauxfilter Luminous Matte Foundation. Now, I'm very much intrigued and interested in this foundation because of the initial claim of this foundation that it is a luminous matte foundation. Now, when I heard that, I said, make it make sense. How is it luminous and matte? Now, in my experience, which is limited, I'll give you a Huda Beauty, my experience is limited. A foundation is either luminous or it's matte. Could be natural as well, but luminous and matte, we're gonna put that to the test today. This is the second foundation Huda Beauty has launched since October or November 2020. They did come out, I think sometime in November, with a stick foundation, and this stick foundation is their #Fauxfilter Skin Finish Foundation. You didn't see a review of this foundation on my channel. I had the foundation almost when it released. You didn't see it being reviewed on my channel because I tried to do the review at least 3 times. Each time I tried different techniques. I prep my skin differently. The issue I had, stick foundations we know are normally oily. They tend to have a more oily finish. I guess that's just the way they're formulated. But this particular foundation on me, it was beyond oily. I'm telling you guys, the foundation was oily. My face looked like I had just dunked it in a bucket of grease. Regardless of how I prepped my skin, regardless of what the techniques I used, it was just a hot mess. Having that experience, I didn't see how putting my video out, I didn't see how it was going to be beneficial to the viewer, to my channel, to myself, or to the brand. So ultimately, I opted not to upload a review on it. It is not my job to sell brands' products, and I also don't think it's my job to bash brands. I want to be fair across the board. When I do my reviews, it is with the intention of providing you useful information by putting the claims to the test. But this particular one, I'm quite interested in it. We're gonna look at some of the claims of this foundation before I actually continue my skin prep. I have my serums on already, but because the foundation says that it's a luminous matte foundation, I'm kind of iffy on how I should prep my skin because I'm like, is it luminous or is it matte? Let's look at the claims. The foundation sells for $50 US. This is the foundation here. It's 1 fluid ounce. It is a plastic container, even though it looks like a glass container, it's plastic. The packaging is nice and sleek. You guys know I'm not big into packaging. I know you guys want to know this information. It comes in 39 shades. According to Sephora, a cult favorite fragrance-free foundation with full coverage up to 24 hours of wear and the Luminous Matte finish. Because I know the original Fauxfilter foundation, it was full coverage, but I know one of the biggest complaints people had with it was that it was heavily fragranced. This one doesn't have any fragrance according to the claims. Now this is interesting, right? So it says that it's 24-hour wear and a luminous matte finish, but right under that it says full coverage, and under that where it says finish, it says matte. So this is an luminous matte foundation. This is a matte foundation. What else do you need to know about this foundation? This buildable full coverage formula is fragrance free. That'll be easy to know. It's transfer proof, it's waterproof, it's fade proof, sweat proof, humidity proof, and it offers up to 24-hour wear. Essentially, this foundation is your new BFF. No matter the weather, occasion, or situation, hashtag Fauxfilter Luminous Matte Foundation will not let you down. These are some serious claims that this foundation is making. We're gonna try to get an 8-hour wear test. Based on what that says, this foundation is a matte finish. So I'm gonna continue to prep my skin, hydrating my skin. Full coverage foundations tend to be matte, and with it being full coverage and a matte foundation, I expect it to pull moisture away from my skin. So I want to have my skin properly prepped for that. I just need to select a moisturizer. I'm going to use a water-based moisturizer. Here in the Bahamas, it doesn't get very cold, but the weather is dry. During these winter months, my skin tends to get dry. My moisturizer that I use during the winter months tends to be a moisturizer that is water-based. I have 3 that I'm going to be recommending. The first one is more on the drugstore range. This one here from Neutrogena. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel. This is one of my favorite water gel moisturizers. This has hyaluronic acid. It absorbs very nicely into the skin. You don't need that much, and it's very, very hydrating. This in the US anyway, this is about $11. I don't know if it's available on store shelves here in the Bahamas. The next one I've been using a lot recently is this one here from Belif. And this one here is the True Cream and Aqua Balm. You can get this one from Sephora. You can add, they have a nice little kit you can get where you get some sample size items with it. If you want to try more of their products. I'll show you this. This one here is a little bit thicker than the Neutrogena one. It's a little bit thicker. I have this one here from Saturday Skin. I really like this. I got this from BoxyCharm, but I think Sephora carries this as well. I'm not gonna open this one just because I already have 2 in rotation right now, but Sephora carries this. This is much more lightweight, and it doesn't have any fragrance whatsoever. I'm gonna use the Belif True Cream Aqua Balm. This has a little bit of fragrance. If you are new and you are just now becoming a Bernie babe, if you are an OG Bernie babe, you already know the next thing I'm going to do is this right here. I'm going to be using my SPF. On this channel, we always use SPF because we know that SPF should always be a part of our skincare routine. We need to protect our skin from sun damage regardless of what our skin type, color is. It can be damaged by the sun. I've hydrated my face. I have my sunscreen on. Now I need to go in with primer. When Huda Beauty launched the stick foundation late last year, they launched this primer here. It's a water gel primer. At first I thought it was going to be like the Milk Hydro Grip primer, but when I started playing with it, I found that it wasn't like the Milk Hydro Grip primer. In my opinion, this is a lot more like skincare. It reminds me of an essence. I wanted to incorporate it into my skincare. If you're using a luminous foundation, don't use this, or use very little of it. One of the things I did in trying to use the stick foundation, the second and third time around, was I skipped this. I'm not sure if I'm still smelling the fragrance from the Aqua Balm, or thought I'd stop recording, or if that's fragrance from that essence, but I think the essence is supposed to be fragrance free. I'm gonna go in with one more primer. I'm gonna use the POREfessional primer from Benefit. I wanna put it around like these areas right here on my cheeks where I have some issues with my pores. Now this is a hydrating one. I tried this the other day and it's not as hydrating as I thought it was going to be. To me, it's more like a soft matte. I know the original primer is a mattifying one. This one feels more like soft matte. I just want to fill in the pores that I have right around here. You can see I have some issues going on my forehead. I have no idea what is causing that. May end up going to see a dermatologist because it's reoccurring, and it came back the other day with that straight line right there. I might get into the foundation. The shade I have is Mocha 500G. I thought I turned this fan off. Jeez, I got up and thought I turned the fan off. I turned the light off. I had the fan right over me on, and I thought I turned the fan off. I ended up turning the light off. So if you notice a slight difference right now in the lighting, I just turned the light back on and turned the fan off. If you notice noise prior to that, that was the fan right over me. Now, I have blemishes and spots that I'm going to be looking to see how well this foundation is going to cover those up. I'm going to start with one pump. So I get one full pump. This foundation is very, very thick, extremely thick. A matte full coverage foundation is likely to dry down very quickly. So whenever I'm using full coverage matte foundation, I don't dot the foundation all over my face at once. I work in sections. And then you also have to blend fast before it starts to dry up on you. I did see some reviews on this foundation. I know a lot of people stay away from reviews before they do their reviews. They feel like it's going to impact how they feel about the foundations or their expectations of the foundations. I do watch reviews before I do my review. I think that's just by nature because most people get their products before I get my own, since I don't live in the US. I don't want to say it doesn't affect me. I watch their reviews and I listen to what they say. I read the claims of the foundation, and when I'm reviewing, I'm putting both to the test. I'm putting like what the majority of the reviews, what their take of it was, and then I'm definitely obviously looking at what the claims of the foundations were to see if it met it. Now looking at this, we can see there isn't that much luminosity. I think what we're seeing is from my skin prep. It's a great match. My initial impression is that the foundation, it's a bit difficult to blend, and you definitely gotta move fast, but you gotta put in some elbow grease in there to blend this. I like using two mirrors when I'm applying makeup, even if I'm applying makeup off camera. I like having the perspective of the two different angles. Whenever you see me look over on this side here, I'm looking into my second mirror. This is with one pump. That's pretty decent coverage, especially on camera. in person, definitely need a little bit more. The first thing I notice is right here, I have the natural contour lines on both sides of my cheeks, and I have those covered up pretty decently, but I want a little bit more coverage. The initial thing I noticed, it's not one of those foundations that blends effortlessly. You gotta put in some work. In fact, I don't think I have a foundation that I've ever had to like really get in there to blend. I take about this much and just putting it in the areas where I feel like I need more coverage. It doesn't build up cakey, but it is even harder to blend when you're trying to build it up because it dries down very, very quickly. Because of how difficult this foundation was for me to blend, I'm definitely going to take my beauty blender, what's left on the back of my hand, and put it on this beauty blender, and I'm just gonna go around my face and bounce this beauty blender around and make sure that there aren't any streak marks from my brush. Now the reason why I put a little bit foundation on when I'm doing this is because, you know, you're using a sponge, so it's going to absorb some of your foundation. I love the coverage I have around my mouth where I have the hyperpigmentation. It doesn't feel as heavy as I thought it would feel being a full coverage foundation. So this is how it looks. It's a hair darker than the rest of my body, but I think rather than going with a shade up, I think this shade was a better match. I mean, this is just what it is. This is what it is. Just take a minute, give this video a like. If you're still not yet a subscriber, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. That way you will be notified every single time I upload a new video. It is exactly 3 o'clock. Foundation is on, so we're gonna try to keep this on. We're gonna try to do ourselves about an 8-hour wear test. So that's what, no, we're gonna try to keep this on until about 8 o'clock. I'm gonna use my Rare Beauty concealers. First, I'm gonna go in with shade 460 first. Oh, y'all already know I love these concealers. I'm gonna do a tiny bits of contouring today. I'm gonna use the NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. Baby, what you doing? I forgot to tell you guys. He's finally decided to give me my dedicated beauty room filming space. I'm gonna miss being out here with him. He's gonna miss me. I don't know when I'm gonna be moving in there, but y'all may not be seeing his cameos as frequently. But let me tell y'all, I should probably take the camera in there to show y'all what him and my brother did in their infinite wisdom, trying to take the treadmill out. You know, man, having the treadmill out, they have the door down somehow, the door. You know, because of COVID, I couldn't really come out to see what they was doing. So, but I could hear it sound like they was doing construction work. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? You could always know when Eddie and his contractors doing something that he don't want to tell me. So of course, Mr. Johnson didn't answer me. But that was yesterday. I figured, do you really want to have an argument on Valentine's Day with your husband? Nobody want to have an argument on Valentine's Day, right? So I didn't say nothing. I don't think Eddie even told me that they took the door down until after we had dinner. Right, babes? Now he can't remember. So soon, guys, I'm going to have my dedicated filming space. I think once he banished me inside that room, I can be on my own. I'm sure he was trying to find a reason to come in there. He's supposed to film a how well do I know my mate video with me. He agreed to do it, right? And I'm like, when do you want to do the video, baby? We're supposed to ask each other 5 questions each. Y'all want to see that video? If y'all want, I'm going to put a poll up. Babes, if I put the poll up and they say they want to see if we can do the video. Okay, y'all heard that, right? So I'm going to do a poll on this video and we're going to see if you guys want to see us do a how well do I know my mate video. I can tell y'all, me and my husband, I think part of what makes us work is we are as different as night and day. Salt and pepper, nothing alike. On paper, you wouldn't see us together. I'm everything gotta be planned and in order type person. Eddie is by the seat of his pants type person. I'm okay, if this isn't working, let's try something else. I call him stay the course bush, because that's how he is. That's how the dog get down. I call my brother MacGyver. He normally could like fix stuff, but MacGyver, he gotta see. He can't think like, okay, this ain't gonna work. You could tell MacGyver this ain't gonna work, and he already said, yeah, it's gonna work. So now you put MacGyver and stay the course bush together. I don't know what I was thinking. He even said that. MacGyver, stay the course. So I put MacGyver and stay the course bush to work unsupervised. Next thing I know, the door to the new beauty room / studio is down, and the treadmill they were supposed to be taken out of there, stuck in between the door. As I was saying, MacGyver and Bush was supposed to be moving the treadmill out of what was formerly the gym. Instead, the treadmill is stuck in between the door is down, and we're having the house spring clean starting tomorrow for the next 2 days. Which is another reason why I gotta get this video filmed, because if I don't, I won't be able to film for a couple of days. And MacGyver can't come back until, when MacGyver said he come back at 8, I'll come back till Wednesday. And the person who's doing the spring cleaning starting tomorrow. This is how my base is looking with, I got my foundation on, my concealer, I got a little bit of contour going on. So you guys know how we do it here. I am gonna pop off camera for a minute. I'm gonna finish up my face, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about my first impressions of this here foundation. So I will be right back. First, on my lips, as you guys can see, I've taken a dramatic turn from my nude lips that I've been wearing and killing lately, and I'm wearing a lipstick from Huda Beauty. It's a matte lipstick, and the name of it is Promotion Day. It doesn't feel overly matte. I don't have any lip gloss on top of it. I did prime my lips with this right here, the lip primer from ABH. So let's talk about the foundation. The foundation, it looks pretty good. My face doesn't look dry. Now, to be honest, my face does look luminous. The question is, how much does my skincare have to do with that? How much of how I prep my skin have to do with this luminous finish that I have? But it does look very luminous. I don't have highlighter on. The blush I have on, it does have little specks of shimmer in it, but I'm not wearing any highlighter. Other than my brow bone, I don't have any highlighter on anywhere. Whatever the highlight you're seeing right around here, that is from my blush. The foundation feels very comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a matte foundation at all. I like the color match. Like I said, I could go one shade lighter, but I think I prefer this in terms of the foundation itself and how it wears. I've had the foundation on now. I think it was 3 o'clock when I was done putting the foundation on. It's now 5 o'clock. So I've had the foundation on for about 2 hours. Doesn't feel uncomfortable, doesn't feel tight, face doesn't look or feel cakey. So I like that. Like I said, the finish does look like it's luminous, but I question how much of that has to do with my skin prep. The reason why I say that is because right after I put the foundation on, I felt like my face looked more flat. And at the end of the day, although the foundation is called a luminous matte foundation, although in its name it says a luminous matte foundation, when you look at what type of finish on the Sephora website, it does say the finish is matte. I mean, we all know it's very difficult for a foundation to be both luminous and matte. It's either going to be luminous or matte. I would think it's very difficult for them to be able to formulate one that's luminous and matte. The foundation is fragrance free, as they said it would be. Now we're gonna put some of the other claims to the test. I'm gonna keep this on probably until about 9 o'clock whilst I'm editing this video. Let me just touch it. My hands are clean. You know, it doesn't feel as matte as some of the other matte foundations I've reviewed. It really doesn't. So I'm wondering if it is, maybe it is luminous. Maybe part of the finish is luminous, because the other foundations that I reviewed, when I touched my face, my face felt really mattifying. My face doesn't feel really mattifying today, right now. And one of the things I really made sure that I did, because I realized in the last foundation review I did, I believe it was the Estee Lauder video, I changed up some of the products that I used. I used new products that I wasn't familiar with. So for today's video, I used everything that I normally use when I'm doing a review of a matte foundation. I use the same bronzer, I use the same setting powder, I use the same setting spray, I used everything. So what I'm feeling right now, the difference I'm feeling in how my skin feels, it can't be my setting spray, it can't be nothing else. It has to be the foundation. So I may be backpedaling just a little bit on whether this is a luminous matte foundation. It may just be. But I'll be back at about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'll be back to give you my final thoughts, and we'll see how this foundation wears up. I will see you guys in a little bit. Hi guys, I am back. It is exactly, can you see that? It is exactly 10:16. I've had the foundation on, well, I was done applying the foundation at exactly 3 o'clock. So it has been about 7 hours since I've had this foundation on. We are going to now take another look at the foundation claims, so we can see if this foundation held up to its claims. Guys, I just not too long had dinner, and let me tell you, when you have Crohn's disease, it is changed so quickly. I felt okay. You know, I told you guys I was from what we had last night for dinner, something we ate upset both of our digestive tracts. We have issues and dietary restrictions. Hubby is almost back to where he needs to be. For me, it's taking a little bit longer. I was actually starting to feel better, and then I had dinner. Like, I just finished eating dinner, and as I was wrapping up, I just started feeling really, really bad. So if I'm low energy, that's because I'm feeling really, really bad. Trying to pull up, and I used my little phone, trying to pull up this foundation on Sephora so I could check the claims again. First, full coverage. The foundation is definitely full coverage, and you can build it up to get even more coverage if you want, like full coverage. If you want a foundation that you are going to an event and you want your face to be beat to the gods, you want every freckle, every imperfection, every blemish covered up, this is your foundation. You can also get a nice natural medium coverage from this foundation. So that claim is definitely that. It says that it's a luminous matte foundation, but according to Sephora, the finish is matte. I'm still torn as to whether or not the finish is luminous or if the finish is matte. As you can probably tell from my face is looking a little bit on the shinier side. I wouldn't even call it shiny, especially in person. Wow, in person it doesn't look shiny at all. Just right around here, literally right around here, but we'll get to that part. But it says luminous matte, which on the face of it, it sounds confusing. But what I think the finish is, you get not necessarily that matte finish, not necessarily that luminous finish, not a natural finish. It's that sweet spot in between. I think that's what they mean by luminous matte. So I think I kind of get why it says it's a luminous matte foundation. The foundation is definitely fragrance free. There's no fragrance from it. Now it's supposed to be transfer proof, waterproof, fade proof, sweat proof, humidity proof, and it lasts up to 24 hours. All right, we're gonna do our traditional transfer test. That's where I get a piece of napkin and I just press it to see how much, if any, foundation is gonna come off. Baby, you could give me a piece of hand towel, please. I always keep in mind when I'm doing my transfer little test that I have other products on. I have a bronzer on, I have powder on that I use to set my face. I have other products on that, I have other powder products on that don't claim to be transfer free. So I do expect sometimes to see a little bit of product. The question is just how much. It's baked in there that I'm going to see something. You know, like when you go on the scale at the doctor's office, and you're holding your handbag and the scale says that you weigh 130 pounds, but then you say it's 125 because your bag weighs, the contents of your bag is 5 pounds. That's how I normally approach when I'm doing my transfer test. So I've got a clean piece of hand towel here. I'm gonna just press. And I can, okay, there's a decent amount of transfer. I think there's enough transfer that the camera is definitely picking it up. So if I compare this to every matte foundation that I have reviewed thus far, I'm getting the most amount of transfer I've seen thus far, because this is the only one where I'm looking into my monitor and I know you guys are gonna be able to see the amount of transfer that I'm getting. As I said before, I used the exact same products that I normally use when I'm reviewing a matte foundation. I used my same bronzer, I used my same finishing powder, I used my same setting powder. So I didn't do anything differently. I didn't use any new products. Is the foundation transfer proof? The foundation is not transfer proof. The foundation claims to be waterproof. In my initial reviews, I'm never going to be able to say if a foundation is waterproof. I can make that determination when I'm washing the foundation off. I always do the double cleansing method. First, I use an oil-based cleanser. I use my SK2 oil cleanser, and then I follow that up with a gel cleanser. I'm using my Elemis gel cleanser. I like the gel cleansers because they don't strip all of the oil out of your skin. So that's what I would normally use. When I'm washing it off, I can tell if it's water resistant by how difficult it is to break the foundation down. So that's when I'm able to answer if a foundation is waterproof. Is it fade proof? I think it is fade proof. All of these hours later, my face looks the same. The foundation hasn't left. You know, sometimes your foundation gets off, it has left the building. All these hours later, the foundation is still here. She is not clocked out. She claims to be a 24-hour wear. You can wear up to 24 hours. Here on Bernie Playing with Makeup, Bernie Babes, we don't do 24-hour wear tests here. I can't imagine the scenario under which you're gonna have foundation on for 24 hours. I mean, I know everyone's lifestyle is different. I don't have oily skin. It is winter and my skin is dry during the winter months. I use water-based products to hydrate my skin. I didn't want my face to look overly matte. I wanted to have a nice healthy glow. Remember earlier I said that I don't have any highlighter on. In terms of oils breaking through, right around my nose, like right here on both sides, my oils are breaking through. That is for sure. So the foundation is not gonna hold up 24 hours. But I believe we will blot. As people who wear makeup, you are going to blot. This foundation, my oils are breaking through, and my skin type is not oily and my oils are breaking through. In person, my forehead is oily. My chin is okay. The perimeter of my face is okay. Really what I'm seeing is my T-zone, which is oily. My T-zone, that is where the oils are coming through. If you have oily skin and you are looking for a foundation that's going to keep your oils under control without you having to blot for an extended period of time, the new Huda Beauty #Fauxfilter Luminous Matte Foundation is not that foundation. It's just not gonna do it. It's a beautiful foundation, but it is not a mattifying foundation that's going to be able to keep your oils under control without you having to blot for 24 hours. It didn't do it for me, combination skin type, for 8 hours. So I'm telling you, it's not going to do it for you for 24 hours. You will need to blot. My T-zone, right where I'm oily, my oils are like hello. But it doesn't look like I've dunked my face in oil. It looks, I have a very healthy glow going on. If I take a look at this under normal circumstances, if I looked at my face, I would blot. I'd be like, okay, so now it's time for you to blot. So we're gonna do just that. One of the things that I look at when I'm doing foundation reviews is when I'm blotting, do I need to go in with additional products? Or if I have a beauty sponge in my bag or a little sponge that comes in my little compact, if I have the brush that I use to apply my powder with, can I just take that with no product, no extra product, just whatever's remaining on that? Can I just take that and blot? This is the brush that I use to set my face. So y'all know how I do it. I'm just gonna take that and let's see if we can mattify this. Going mostly in my T-zone where we are looking oily. And I'm just gonna take it all around. Both in person and on camera, I feel like I have that finish that I had right after, when I came back after doing my makeup, which was I think like 2 hours in. I feel like that's how it looked. Not mattifying, luminous matte. Touching it, even now with me touching my face, remember earlier I talked about with previous matte foundations that I reviewed, when I touch my face with my hands, my face felt very matte. My face doesn't feel overly dewy, but it doesn't feel matte. If you get what I'm trying to say, it doesn't feel matte. And I can also see the foundation settling into my smile lines right here. But I don't do much to do it. Like with prepping, I don't do anything different. I'm okay with that. I'm not like this, I'm going for perfection type person when it comes to makeup. So I'm okay with that, but I just noticed right there in my smile lines, I can see the foundation settled in my, right there. But this is a very thick foundation, so I'm not surprised that it has done that. All of the other matte foundations that I reviewed, none of them settled into my smile lines the way this has. But those formulas, they weren't as thick as this one at all. The biggest thing I would say look out for with this when you're applying it, especially my fellow newbies, is this foundation is going to dry down very, very, very quickly, and it's not as easy to blend. I would recommend that you work in sections and you blend fast. building it up is a little bit more difficult once that first layer has dried down, because it does dry down quickly, and so now you're trying to put more product on top of your face that's already dried down, which is kind of weird because ultimately once you have everything on right now, my face doesn't feel dry, but when you're applying it, that is the way how it feels. But the ultimate finish is in matte, and so I think that's why it's called a luminous matte foundation, which I think to all of us is very confusing. Let's face it, everyone I think felt a bit confusing when we saw this foundation and it says luminous matte. You know, it's like, is it luminous or is it matte? I think it's in that sweet spot in between. It's a bit luminous, it's matte, but it's not really a luminous foundation. It's not really a matte foundation. It's just in that sweet spot. Now, is it a foundation I'm going to be wearing all of the time? No. Do I like this foundation? Yes. Who would I recommend this foundation for? I would recommend this foundation for someone who maybe your skin is a bit on the oily side. You're looking for a foundation that's going to keep your oils under control, but you don't want your face to look dry. I'm going to give you a foundation that you could probably compare this to, that if you already have in your collection, that you probably could skip over this. And I would say the Too Faced Born This Way 24-Hour Matte Foundation. That too is supposed to be a 24-hour matte foundation. That too gives great coverage. That foundation blends. It's much easier to blend that foundation than it is to blend this foundation. They're right around the same price point, $40. So if you have that foundation in your collection and you don't necessarily need a next foundation, you may be able to sit this particular one out. If you know, it's up to you. If you feel like, nope, I want another foundation, I want another matte foundation, I want a full coverage foundation, because the Too Faced foundation is, the claims isn't that it's a full coverage foundation, although you can build it up to a full coverage foundation. So if you feel like you want a full coverage foundation, this foundation could be for you. I always say with putting foundation on, the results you're gonna get, regardless of if it's a luminous foundation, if it's a hydrating foundation, if it's a matte foundation, if it's a natural finish foundation, your skin prep is key. The way you prep your skin is key. No matter what foundation you're using, skin prep is key. Skin prep, as well as taking care of your skin in general. We who wear makeup a lot, we have to make sure that we're paying attention to our canvas, which is our face. If you're not paying attention to your canvas, not caring for it, I don't care how expensive a foundation is, I don't care how good your technique is, I don't care how good your tools are, your foundation is not gonna look good. It's just not gonna look good. The canvas, which is your face, honey, you need to pay some attention to that. Keep that in mind, that the most important thing is the canvas. Thank you guys so much for spending part of your day with me. As always, I do appreciate it. Please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. If you are not yet a Bernie babe, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because you want to be the first to know when I upload a new video. Until next time, guys, please be safe. Bye.